In the 1970s, the United States banned cigarette advertising on television. The reasoning was simple. Smoking was dangerous. It caused hundreds of thousands of deaths every year, and especially children shouldn't be exposed to something that dangerous when they're still young. Instead, something else took place as the new hero under the different shiny ads, constructed to especially reach children every day. It was something harmless, something everybody consumed. It provided energy and made happy, and it was nearly perfect. But behind this facade of joy and happiness, a very dark truth was hiding, concealed by the most notorious doctors and studies in the world. Well, let's talk about sugar. Today, sugar is everywhere, not just in sweets, but in drinks, bread, sauces, cereals, even foods that don't taste sweet at all. In fact, more than 60% of products in US supermarkets contain added sugar, and most people don't even realize how much they consume. On average, adults in the United States consume around 17 teaspoons of added sugar per day. That's 2 to 3 times more than recommended. Over the course of a year, that adds up to around 60 pounds of sugar per person. That's roughly the weight of a small child, and most of that doesn't come from desserts. The largest sources are sugary drinks, processed foods, and everyday products like coffee, cereals, and sauces. A single can of soda can contain around 10 teaspoons of sugar, hence almost an entire day's limit in just one drink. So, what actually happens after consuming sugar? When you eat sugar, your blood glucose rises rapidly. Your body responds by releasing insulin to bring it back down. The system works, but only if it's not constantly overloaded. Over time, repeated spikes can lead to insulin resistance, one of the key drivers of type 2 diabetes. But it doesn't just stop there. Excess sugar intake is also linked to increased fat storage, chronic inflammation, and high blood pressure, all of which significantly increase the risk of heart disease and stroke, which are among the leading causes of death worldwide. Diabetes alone causes around 1.6 million deaths every year globally, and high blood sugar contributes to even more deaths through cardiovascular disease. Sugary drinks alone are linked to hundreds of thousands of deaths annually. And when you combine all sugar-related diseases, the total impact reaches into the millions. Soon, the image of the shiny, sweet substance faded. We all know this rush after eating a bar of chocolate, and also that craving that follows, the craving for more. This is because sugar doesn't just affect the body, it affects behavior. When you consume sugar, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in reward and motivation. Over time, this creates a feedback loop. Consumption to reward to craving to repetition. Some researchers describe this as addiction-like behavior. Not identical to drugs, but similar enough to explain why stopping can feel so difficult. And unlike drugs, sugar is everywhere. Sugar is cheap, accessible, and sugar is consumed by everybody every day. The most revealing part isn't just the biology. It actually is the history. In the 1960s, the sugar industry funded research designed to shift the blame for heart disease away from sugar and onto fat. These studies were published in major scientific journals without disclosing the industry funding, and they worked. For decades, fat became the #1 enemy. Low-fat products flooded the market, often filled with added sugar, and while people were cutting fat, sugar consumption increased. That narrative shaped public perception for generations, and the consequences are still visible today. So, why isn't sugar treated like other harmful substances? Well, because it doesn't feel dangerous. There's no immediate effect, so no clear moment where things go wrong. Instead, the damage builds slowly over years and sometimes decades. And when something harmful becomes part of everyday life, it stops being questioned. Sugar alone isn't the problem. It is how much of it we consume and how easy it is to consume very much of it without realizing it. Forming the narrative that sugar is toxic and should be avoided at all costs is neither useful nor realistic. And as long as we consume it mindfully and not in excessive amounts, there's not much to hold against a sweet treat now and then. The most dangerous substances aren't always the ones we fear. Sometimes they're the ones we've completely normalized, and especially sugar might be one of them. And if you're now hungry, I definitely am, enjoy your snack and stay healthy. Also, consider subscribing to this channel, leaving a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.